So you want to finally quit drinking alcohol. You want to see what the power can be when you stop drinking alcohol, but you don't know where to start, or you're sober curious and want to know what's the ultimate way to begin doing this. Well, if that's you, this video is for you. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Jamie Dottie Garza, and it's time to ignite your sobriety. If you're new here, hello. This channel is devoted to creating all sober type of content to help you ignite your sobriety. And in this video, I want to talk about the steps, the 5 best steps to prepare for your journey of sobriety and getting sober. I embarked on about 15 years of heavy alcohol consumption, and it took me about April 17th, 2022 was my last drink. So I've been sober, completely free of alcohol since then. I want to share the steps that help me prepare. The first way is mental and emotional preparation. First, what I mean by this is acknowledging your decision. You're someone out there who may have not considered yourself drinking a lot, and maybe you had to take a tough pill to swallow to realize, like, wow, I do drink more than my peers, more than my family. It took years of maturity. I'm glad I understood that in my early 30s as opposed to maybe hitting my 40s or 50s, but it was a hard pill to swallow. And once I realized that, I was able to make more initial steps and acknowledging that fact to keep me accountable on, like, hey, why do I want to get sober? For me personally, it's the fact that I have 2 sons that I'm raising. Also, I have a newborn daughter who's about 15 months right now. I got married. I'm looked at as a leader in my community, being more disciplined, being more focused, being more loving, being more empathetic, being the best version that God has placed me on this earth to be by not having no alcohol. This for you could be health reasons, maybe strengthening your relationships, or maybe you're the one chosen, and maybe you come from a family and bloodline of alcoholics. Maybe you're the one who is gonna shift this whole generation. Second part of that is setting realistic expectations. Let's be honest, we would all like to just go cold turkey and quit, and that be the end all be all to the story and not have any conflicts during the way. That's what I thought. And it worked for me for a little bit, and then I fell back in 2016 and 2017, and I kept going and I kept doing moderation, and then finally again in 2022, that's when I was like, yo, I'm going all the way in, no excuses. But if we dissect that time from that took about 5 to 6 years to get to the spot of completely dry. Sure, in the midst of that, there was times where I would go 90 days. I would take a lot of breaks with alcohol. And I would also understand, like, hey, I let go of the liquor. Let me just do beer this quarter or month or the rest of the year. Or let me just sip wine or sip seltzers or whatever, champagne. So in my mind, that was progress. But you also got to prepare yourself mentally for those factors of cravings. Maybe prepare yourself mentally for the fact that you might be around some individuals who may still be drinking like regular, but you're trying to get away from that. You also got to prepare for potential setbacks. And I know I fell short numerous times. I read in the comments of my subscribers and some of the followers, what's up everybody, that, you know, you guys fall off maybe a year, maybe 2 weeks, 2 months, but you're adamant of getting started again. And that's what it's all about. So just prepare for setbacks. No, we don't want the setbacks, but just be prepared so you can dust yourself off and get back going to the mission at hand. The second way to prepare yourself for sobriety is building a support system. Immediately, for me, it was informing my family and friends. I remember calling my mom, telling her my decision, telling my grandma, my abuelo, my abuela, my wife, of course, telling my kids, telling my best friends, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get sober. And building that relationship and being intentful with your communication sparks everything. Because not only more than likely they're going to root for you, but also they're going to keep you accountable. And on this journey, that's what it's all about, accountability. I know my last run in 2022 of going completely dry, completely straight edge, completely no alcohol whatsoever. One of those promises I made was to my Lord and Savior. So what type of I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want to go back and be like, I promise you, if you deliver me, I'll go back. Why would I do that? So it's a lot of accountability. When you choose to share to your friends and family, make sure that you choose people who respect you and want to see you win on this journey. Another option on building a support system, maybe you might have to seek out some therapy or maybe some counseling from addiction centers. Different strokes for different folks. I personally don't have any experience going this route. However, I read in the comments often. I know a lot of people in my community who went this route. A good friend of mine, he is off in Texas right now, and he is getting the rehabilitation he needs. Only you know this, and only you can feel this discernment in your spirit to do so. They are professionals, they are experienced, and they can guide you accordingly to your tailored needs. And another tip within this sector is finding support groups. Finding support groups online, maybe Facebook groups who are going through sobriety. Maybe it's Reddits. I was in Reddits a lot, subgroups, and finding a community where they would share their story, where they're at, why they quit, even when they fell short, how they got back up, what it looks like on the other end. And all these can be inspirational for you to just know that you are not alone. Even on this YouTube community, maybe upon this ecosystem that I'm currently building for you guys, maybe you'll find comments below that to resonate. Maybe you'll resonate from this content, maybe from another creator. But online communities are a great way to have support and just get influenced and inspired by others. The next thing you're going to want to do in preparing is to create a sober environment. Clear out all that alcohol in your house. Get rid of it. Clear out any triggers around your household. Clear it out. I know one thing for me, I would always drink, right? And I always equated a cigarette right after. So it went twofold. For me, I had to learn how to quit tobacco, which me and my girlfriend at the time, she wasn't my wife yet, we were avid smokers of nicotine. So we had to get in tune with that. I think she officially quit during COVID of 2020. I think that's when that happened, in the spring. And I was off and on. So every time I drank, right, I would want a cigarette. I also would think of a cigarette like, what would go great with this? Some alcohol. So it was a trigger for me. I also had to be mindful of my triggers of not only getting rid of it completely in my house, out of sight, out of mind. That's what you're definitely going to want to do. But also being conscious of where I went to eat. Preparing lunch dates with networking friends of mine. I would always, again, at the time, I would eat chicken and I would want, guess what, on the side? A beer or maybe some street tacos. I would want a beer on the side. It was just programmed. So I remember shifting a lot of things in the preparation phases of getting rid of my triggers until I knew, the first month or 2 months that I was fine to be around it. But do your best to avoid those triggers and remove the alcohol out your environment. The fourth way to prepare on this sobriety journey is developing new routines and new hobbies. This was my favorite because there was so much time I gained back. Sometimes when we think the clocks go backwards, we gain an hour at a time. Well, just imagine when you completely get rid of alcohol out your life. You're going to get so many hours that turn into days, that turn into weeks, that turn into months. And you'll be able to be more consistent with your scheduling. No longer will it be like, hey, I'm consistent waking up at this time and going to bed this time during the week, and then weekend turning up, and then Monday grogging, and the cycle continues. No, you'll be able to really build the ultimate schedule and map your day out because everything's staying the same. There's no factors of what type of booze you drank that kept you groggy or kept you hungover or kept you praying to that porcelain god of a toilet because you're throwing up. There's no longer anything of that. You're in control of exactly what happens every day. So this might mean for you, this might be waking up early. This might be before the sun rises, getting ahead of the day early, maybe journaling your thoughts, maybe getting a quick workout in before the kids even wake up to go to school. This also might be meaning more time to read during the night or maybe during the day because you'll have that available. You might have hobbies where you might get involved with a local basketball team or that does night teams or baseball or softball or volunteering to run 5Ks. I'm speaking from experience because these are the things I was able to do. Maybe volunteering's your things. Maybe you have a hobby of building Legos and then now you're devoting all your time in completing a Lego set. It's endless. The great thing about building these hobbies and learning these hobbies is, one, it distracts you from even wanting to get alcohol. Because one thing about it, if you're bored, and I realized most of the time I drank was because I was bored. But in return, doing these new hobbies and discovering these can lead to a new lifestyle that you never even wondered or ever knew that was possible. And if you're one of those who maybe had a ritual, right, of a long day at work and you just want to come home, take off your shoes, get in that recliner and fall back, and maybe you associated that with a nice cold one while you watch YouTube or whatever you watch on TV, we can change that ritual. Maybe doing the same thing, but coming home to a nice cold cream soda. This was one of the big game changers for me when I did have a tiresome day, a hard day, and I needed to unwind. I went in my fridge, I got my cream soda in a bottle, I put it in one of them koozies, and I sat back and I drank the cream soda. And the last way I can give to you guys to prepare for this journey of sobriety is to have a plan with coping with cravings and setbacks. Have a plan when them cravings attack, because they will attack. It might be randomly throughout your day. You might be like 12 p.m. Like, I could go for a shot right now. Or you might see a commercial, or you might be on social media and someone might be taking shots, or you might see an advertisement. This is how it works. You might be on your way and you might see a new beer out. I don't know what it is. Someone might call you, be like, hey, you want to go out for drinks? That's just nothing but the enemy right there, because you're trying to stay on your path. But setbacks will occur, and they can occur. Some practices that might help that I personally know is prayer, being mindful and intentful and praying a lot. Also, fasting helped me a lot on this journey because it kept me even more disciplined of what goes in my body. And I became so aware of myself and aware of self through this. For you, this might mean maybe calling a friend when you get those cravings, to be able to reach out to them, be like, yo, man, I'm really craving this, man. Talk to me. I just need your insight. And if they're a good friend, they're going to tell you exactly why your mission is and why would you go back to that, and get you almost like a coach to keep you back in the game. And if it does happen, you just got to learn how to deal with the setbacks and have a plan on that, and just be mindful of that, and just understand that setbacks occur all the time, whether you're on the journey of sobriety, whether in your work, whether if you're a parent, a father, marriage, just the everyday goes of life on this earth. There will be setbacks that we can't even predict. But I encourage you guys out there in preparing to realize is that setbacks aren't failure. I read by John Maxwell in the book. It said you either win or you learn. See, I don't think of winning or losing. If I didn't learn, I wouldn't be teaching this, because I would have did it quote unquote right the first time and went completely sober. I wouldn't have all this value to give to you guys. And you never know who you can influence when you're on your journey and you take setbacks or you learn from those. It's all a learning experience. Don't beat yourself too bad about it. Yes, you can hold yourself accountable. Yes, you could be disappointed, but don't let that drag and think, oh, well, the streak's over and let me just go ahead and drink all again. You don't have to do that. Take your L, It's cool. Just get back to it the next day. And just know and identify and reverse engineer exactly why you fell short. Was it temptation? Was it you were bored? Was it the fact that you're in a new environment? Like, really pinpoint that so you learn not to try to get to that area or be influenced, or however it may have happened the next go round on your journey to sobriety. So those are my 5 ways to prepare for sobriety. If this content resonated with you guys and you got value from it, consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a comment below and let me know where you're at in your journey. I enjoy this community we're building. I really enjoy reading your comments. They're inspirational, and I love hearing where everyone's at, because we're all starting from somewhere, or we might be celebrating 6 years of sobriety. It's really inspiring. Let's keep that up. And if you guys really want to have an alcohol-free way of living and you want to go beyond the means of the content on here, on this YouTube channel, I encourage you guys to check out my Ignite Your Sobriety course. It's a blueprint and a 3-part system for alcohol-free way of living. Check in the pinned comments below to get more information. But beyond that, I just want to thank each and every one of you for watching, as always, and go out and ignite your sobriety.